From being deported last year to coming back and winning it all this time around, what does the future hold for Novak Djokovic? He's revealed it himself, and on a broader level, Djokovic has no intentions to stop here. And what would come as bad news for the rest of the tennis community, obviously for the next gen, Djokovic isn't going anywhere anytime soon. You might as well just write off the Grand Slams from this year too, because Novak won't be letting anyone get a whiff of them. I just love the focus and determination he brings to the court. There's something just so assured by his approach. And you can be a Roger Federer fan or a Rafael Nadal fan, but you just can't fault Novak on his determination to win it all. Unlike those two, Djokovic doesn't like to beat around the bush when it comes to the majors. In particular, he's pointed out how these trophies, referring to the Grand Slams obviously, are his biggest motivational factor, and the reason why he still competes. A minute of silence for the next gen who were thinking that this year was their year. Sorry folks, you might as well plan on winning next year, because Djokovic has got it this year. And I've seen this script way too many times to be honest. You either rely on Novak to somehow get a shock exit at the hands of an NPC, or you just hope that he gets a ban from some tournament. Which, again, obviously isn't what the tennis community and the fans want. But it might just be the only way we see a new Grand Slam winner this year. And for the ones that believe the French Open might be worth a shot, I've got more news on that front. Yeah, Novak might be well rested ahead of the Roland Garros, and there's a huge chance that he'll be fueled with another round of revenge. Why? Well, it's very simple. The folks in the US aren't convinced that Djokovic will get a visa to play in the Sunshine Double. In fact, it's just bad news after bad news for the rest of the tour, because the US is planning on lifting its restrictions on travel and COVID sometime in May, which means that even though Djokovic has applied for an exemption to the US, the chances are stacked against him, and he could miss both Indian Wells and the Miami Open. So how is it bad news for the rest of the tour? I mean, I thought I didn't need to explain, but anyway. Basically, if Djokovic doesn't turn up for the Sunshine Double, that'll be 2 weeks of rest that he'll get.
And really see how far he can go. I mean, if I turn back the time 2.5 weeks ago, I wasn't really liking my chance in this tournament with the way I felt with my leg. And, then it was just a matter of survival of every single match and just trying to take it to the next round. The good thing about the Grand Slam here is that you have a day between the matches, so it allowed me to have more time than normally on some other tournaments.
And he might not be happy to get that rest, but at 35, his body will welcome it. Even though it's sad how no one even took him to 5 sets in Melbourne. And yes, that would mean that Djokovic is well rested for the second major of the year, the Roland Garros. And extra cookie points to whoever guesses the name of the other players set to miss the next month or more. Yeah, Rafael Nadal. Basically, the 2 remaining members of the Big Three will be back, well rested for the French Open. Sorry folks, it only gets worse from here, as Djokovic should be allowed to play the US Open at the end of the year too. Yeah, remember how I told you the US is lifting its travel restrictions at the end of May? That isn't great news for Djokovic, who is planning on adding to his Masters tally next month.
But at the same time, I'm very grateful that I have, closest people in my life that still support me on this great mission.
But in the long run, it's fantastic news for the Serb. He'll have a chance to return to New York for the US Open, which he missed last year. And if his revenge story from January is anything to go by, we can probably write off 2 of the next 3 Grand Slams, because he won't be giving anyone any chance. Oh, and if I remember correctly, Djokovic still has something he needs to settle with the Wimbledon folks too. You might be thinking, what? He played there and also won the whole thing. You're right, but Djokovic, along with many other players like Nick Kyrgios and Elena Rybakina, were robbed of points in Wimbledon last year. And this year, Novak might want to get his hands on the maximum allotment of points here too. So, are we looking at a possible calendar slam? I wouldn't rule it out. Bit of a stretch, yes, but come on! Look at what Djokovic has been saying. He was recently quoted saying that I have a chance to win any slam against anybody.
I believe I can win most slams and break the record for longest number 1 and I believe those are definitely my clear goals. But at the same time, they're not the only thing that motivates me on a daily basis. It's not sustainable. It's not.
And I'd be the last person to challenge him on that belief. Djokovic accepted the fact that 35 is not 25, which basically highlights that he has gotten old, yes. But at the same time, Novak knows that he can beat any player at any slam, especially if he's feeling good physically and when he's mentally present. The recent rest would suggest that there wouldn't be any concerns in the mental department, and the possible upcoming rest, as he might be forced to skip the US trip for those 2 Masters, might end up doing wonders in the physical department. And that doesn't mean great news for any of the young guns hoping to sneak in a Grand Slam. But for the time being, Djokovic's sights are set on the Sunshine Double, as Djokovic is seeking special permission to compete in the US. What more can you possibly expect from someone who doesn't even give up when he's 2 sets down? He won't be giving up on his chances of appearing in Indian Wells and the Miami Open just yet. There's a lot of political reasons why he might be denied a chance. And many would point out that if Djokovic gets to come to the US without a vaccine, then they should be allowed too. But for the time being, let's see what the decision is made by the officials. As per the US law, non-residents need to show proof of vaccination until mid-May. And I can assure you that Djokovic won't be getting the vaccine just to enter the US. He's got other ways, like applying for an exemption or special permission. And Tommy Haas, the tournament director in Indian Wells, has revealed how it would be a disgrace if Djokovic isn't allowed to participate. He also explained how Djokovic has submitted all the required documentation along with a request, and Haas added that both tournament directors have also submitted their request for winning the world #1 at the tournament. The decision should be made very soon, and Haas is hoping for a positive outcome, like the rest of us. But should it not work, Djokovic has also given an update on his future ahead of the Sunshine Double. The Serbian champ believes there's time ahead of him and wants to see how far he can go. From what I know about watching Djokovic in the last few years, he's not someone who gives up easily.
It doesn't fuel me every day. What fuels me every day is something that is more related to my growth.
Novak will fight until the very end, and he'll push his body to the limits in pursuit of maximum majors. And I firmly believe that he'll end up with at least 4 or 5 more, just like Kyrgios is predicting Djokovic to do. As far as the next gen is concerned, they can either spend the next few months devising a strategy to defeat him over 5 sets, or just pray that he decides it's time to retire soon enough. That's all I have on Djokovic. See you next time.